Alright, in this lesson I'm going to take you through some simple modifiers to continue to iterate on your terrain once it's been displaced with your height map. So as we are going to quickly review, we started with a simple planar surface and we put a displace modifier on that, as you can see right up here in the stack. And we went and applied our height map, and now we're going to dial up our strength. So we have a displaced surface, and now I'm going to show you a set of tools that will allow you to very quickly modify, continue to iterate on your displaced terrain. So the first thing that we want to do is collapse the stack, so right click on displace, collapse all, and that will turn it to an editable mesh. We want to access the poly tool, so we will turn it to an editable poly. So now that we have our editable poly, we can access the tool set. Right up here there's a icon, Graphite Modeling Tools. Click on that if you don't see your tools available to you. And then we get a row below our static panel that shows the graphite modeling tools. You double click on that, and for each of the sub objects you have a different tool set that you can use. In this particular tutorial we're going to be using the freeform tools associated with the editable poly feature. And as I open that, you can see that there are a number of tools here available for your use. I think what I'd like to do is show you the Shift tool first. The Shift tool is a tool that moves sub-objects around in the screen space. We need to have the vertices or the vertex sub-objects or the edge sub-objects selected when we use our Shift tool. And so there you see that we have an internal effect zone and an external and outer effect zone. The internal affects the terrain or the geometry 100%, and then the outer one, it depicts the fall off. And in order to change those, you can hit Control Shift and drag vertically to change those together. You can click Shift to change the size of the 100% effect zone. You can hit Control on your keyboard to affect the fall off zone, and by holding down the Shift and the Alt key you can change the strength that you can see. By dialing that down it'll affect it a lot slower rate. Alright, and so that is how you make the adjustments on that tool. And then you can just go around on your terrain and pull up areas. In this area I want a much taller area over here. Perhaps I want to change the direction of that. And then you can again dial down the effect zones to be able to affect much smaller areas, and up and down with the strength so that you can modify your terrain very quickly. Now I'd like to show you a few more features available with the Shift tool. Over here to the right on the Shift Options panel, you'll notice just above that you have the full strength. You can edit your strength and your fall off here as well. If you click on the Shift Options, you can also see that we can freeze the selected edges. So what we're going to do is up here in the view, we're going to change that to local view. And to demonstrate how this can work for you, we're going to first view. Alright, we'll see up. So what we're going to do is lock down the X and Y coordinates so that when you do use your Shift, you are making adjustments only in the Z axis. So that can work very well for you if you're just trying to deform the terrain in one direction. And also we have mirror axis here. If you are working on a symmetrical model and you want to maintain that, you can use the mirror axis in order to get the other side to mirror as well. The first row applies to the sub-object that you are currently modifying with, and the second freeze selected edges option set is it's applied to all the sub-object levels. So whether you're working in vertex or edge and so on, it only affects the axis that you do not have locked down. This is a way of locking down for all of the sub-objects. There is another tool set that I would like to show you to continue to modify your terrain, and that is in the same area, the freeform of the graphic modeling tools. We're going to talk about push-pull tool set. Push-pull allows you to push and pull your mesh, just as it says, by dragging the brush over the surface of the terrain or the object. When you're dragging the brush, it pulls the verts outward, and if you click your Alt key, it will push them inward. So let's give that a try. We're pulling, click on the push-pull. We're now pulling our mesh. I have edges selected. Now if I hold my Alt key, it allows you to push in. If you don't like what's happening here and you want to start new, but you've come a long way, there's a handy revert button right here. You click that and it'll actually revert that back to the original condition of the mesh, and you can begin again. And it does it very slowly. It's a setting that you can adjust. The speed at which it does go back. So that is a very handy way of recovering what you've done previously without having to lose some of your other work. So there's another feature here that's going to be very useful to you if you have gone in and modified your terrain in a number of different areas and gotten what you like, but you'd like to save what you've done and continue. You can go to the revert and click on this green check which says commit. What you're doing is you're committing to the current condition of your mesh. So when you do continue to deform your terrain and use the revert, it only reverts back to the last time you committed to your mesh. So very handy tool. And also there is a cancel. It removes any changes made with the paint deform since the last time you committed. So that's an instant way of deleting your changes. Revert is a much more gradual way. If you've modified a bunch of the terrain in all different areas and you just have one area where you just don't like what happened, you can revert that by pushing this button and painting over that. Alright. Additionally, there are a number of brush selections within the push-pull feature, and you'll want to get familiar with these. Each one of them does something a little bit different and unique. There's pinch spread, which pinches in your mesh to create more exaggerated areas so that you can get a tighter deform on your terrain. There's flatten, which does exactly what it says. It doesn't look like it's working very well with the pinch tool, but it will go ahead and flatten out certain areas. Relax and soften is also something that you can utilize to just modify those areas that you see the mesh is stretching a little bit too much and you want to relax that back into a softer deformation. Smudge is, yeah, you'd have to have a special reason for using it. It actually just sort of smudges around your terrain. And the strength can be modified on each one of these tools, so they work a little bit differently. Noise is also an interesting feature. If you have a smooth area and you just want to randomly go in and modify or just give it some real rough texture, that's a good one to use. Although you need to be a little careful with that one because you get something that's not good, not a good result. In which case you can use your relax and go back over and smooth that out. Exaggerate is also an interesting option. It makes the features of the painted surface more pronounced, more exaggerated, so whether they go in or go out, convex or concave, it just exaggerates that a little bit. So, oops, that's not it. Let's click on that, try it again. So you can see that it's just sort of, I'm not seeing too much. Strength is probably turned down. There we go. Alright, again, you can modify the strength and the offset, and have a number of different ways of modifying that as you go. All very useful tools. Additionally, I do want to show you that when push-pull is selected, you can go in here under Paint Options, and you can select on Brush Options, which brings up the painter options, paint to form options. It gives you a lot of ways of tweaking the strength, min and max. You can also go in here and mirror. So if we select on that, you can see both the gizmos there, and you can mirror across the axes, and a number of other different options here. Now, we will explore painter options a little bit more when we do our organic models. They come in very handy for those. So I just wanted to give you a tutorial that will get you started quickly, give you options in Max to be able to deform your terrain surface and the other more organic models that we're going to be doing for the first half of this semester. And we will get into more detail about painter options and sculpting tools as we go into the next half of our semester and we begin modeling our organic models.